A textbook recently released in Texas stated that the slave trade brought millions of workers from Africa to the southern region of the U.S. to work on agricultural plantations. This sentence represents a distorted view of history. A freshman high school student noticed this error and told his mother, who told all of Facebook. The textbook publishers learned of the mistake and issued an apology letter. That is wonderful. But when I read the replies that came from members of the Texas State Board of Education, I wonder if changing the word choice used in a depiction of racially significant events in history will hinder students. When a select group of people try to depict their version of history, it takes away the understanding and emotions evoked when presented with information. By referencing slaves as workers, they are opening the door for assumptions to be made that lean towards the idea that things were not so terrible for slaves. Yes, in the definition of a slave, they are said to be workers, but they were forced into servitude and had no rights or choices. When summarizing the migration of Africans from their homeland to America, workers is not the right term to use. At first glance, you would think it was just a little mistake the writers made. But when you look a little deeper, you begin to wonder, was it really a mistake or was it premeditated? Taking into consideration the process of how a textbook is developed and released, board members have a lot of power. They issue a proclamation of the changes they want for the curriculum. They have different publishers bid to have their corporation develop the new textbooks. After smaller committees convene over the prospects, the board receives the top choices and look for errors. The board chooses the winner, and ta-da, a new textbook is made and released. Because the system seems to work well in keeping things organized, I believe the problems surfaced from the board members. After the controversy hit the news, board members spoke out on how people are too easily offended nowadays and why the board rejects having an expert review panel. Along with the chairman of the board, who homeschooled her own children, Donna Bohork, there's a board member named Mary Lou Brenner, who spoke out on how she believes President Obama was a gay prostitute and how science is an institution promoting atheism. These individuals are making statewide curriculum decisions that students are required to learn. In 2014, the board issued textbooks that state Moses from the Bible created American democracy, and that the removal and claiming of Native American land and territory was an amicable exchange. Now the board is currently discussing the removal of information on the Civil War, KKK, and Jim Crow's law. I believe that if they want something done, it will happen. Take, for instance, the lack of documentation and discussion in history textbooks of the Japanese internment camps located in Texas during World War II. The education system and structure in Texas is a reference point for other states like Oklahoma and New Jersey. Others learn from how we teach and what we teach our students. When we make mistakes that are only noticed after the fact, it is a greater possibility that the mistake will be replicated throughout the nation. Subtle changes and removal of racial and controversial events in history can distort the view students have about the past and what really happened. Using workers in that specific sentence was a subtle way to take away the negative light that surrounds slavery. These changes could one day cause a ripple effect that will remove lessons on their mistakes from the past. First, we have a word choice error. Then we have strange board members enforcing a corrupted curriculum. And before we know it, the history textbooks won't talk about slavery or any other incidents that looks bad on America's character.
Created using Powtoon.